Somebody knocks softly each day when I am busy making my way. And sometimes I think I should just open up, look and see. Somebody knocks, there it is again. Maybe somebody wants to come in. Somebody knocks softly. Somebody. Oh, someone is outside my door.
We are seeing a dramatic increase in the number of kids coming into foster care. For instance, in 2003, we had 214 children in foster care. Now in 2008, we have 350. That's a dramatic increase. As the county grows, so do the number of kids that need a loving, caring home to help them along as their parents work out their issues.
Foster care is a temporary solution for children who have been abused or neglected to have a loving home and loving parents that can take care of them while their family works to correct the problems that led the children to be removed from the home.
What you think a foster child is in your head, I think there's a lot of stereotypes of the families and the children themselves, but then when they come into your home, you realize families are families. Some just need a little more help, and children are children.
Can you help me with my homework, please?
Sure.
The children in foster care in Clermont County are the children that go to school with your children, the children that you see all the time. They have been abused and neglected through no fault of their own. They're the same as every other child in this community. And it's nothing that they do that caused them to be abused or neglected. But they've led very different lives than our children. They have been abused at the hands of their caretakers, their parents, their guardians. They've been neglected. They haven't been provided the very basic needs that all children should be provided.
They're all different, and they're all the same. They're all different because their needs, their specific needs are different, but they're all the same because they want a normal, loving family. They want to feel wanted. So that doesn't change whether they're babies that need to be nurtured and hugged and snuggled, or whether these are teenage children who have had a less than perfect home life, but they still want to be loved and nurtured. And I think that is a universal piece of the foster child that regardless of who they are, that's the same.
Can you please help me with my homework?
Sure. And I love the reaction that I get from people when they find out you're a foster parent. The first thing they say is, there's a special place in heaven for people like you. And it's like, you can do it too, it's not that hard.
We have such a need here for foster parents in Clermont County because so many of our children are having to leave our county. It is such a sad day for me when I come into the office and hear from my staff that yet another Clermont County child has to leave our county to find a safe and stable home outside of the county. About 50% of our children have to leave the county to find a loving home, another loving, stable foster family. I want our children to remain in this county. This is where their friends are. This is where their extended family is. This is where their schools are if they're in school. We have such a need for our community to take care of our children.
The people that make the best foster parents are people who truly have it in their heart to bring children who need a helping hand into their lives and into their homes, and provide them all the things that they may have not been getting from their parents. A person who will sit down and talk with a child, a person who will give that child a hug, a person who will help that child with their homework. And overwhelmingly, these are professional people. These are people that generally work full-time outside the home, but they want to give something back to the community that they're in. They want to help the children in their community that are struggling. Those are the people that make the best foster parents.
Can you help me build?
Can I help you build? What would you like to build?
A big old tower.
A big old tower. We can build a big old tower, and I will help you.
The children that are in foster care are anywhere from a newborn child to an 18-year-old child. and we need homes for all of those children.
We definitely wanted children of our own, and being in a career that I'm in, I'm a police officer, and I see a lot of these kids live in homes of just unbelievable conditions, and we see an opportunity to benefit, the community and benefit ourselves, and that's why we kind of took advantage of that.
It's amazing just to watch them go from, babies that are born positive to drugs, or babies that have bonding issues, and within months you watch them progress, and all of a sudden everything's better. They've grown so much, and that's just so rewarding to watch. You don't have to be the perfect parent. We were never parents before. This was our first time being a parent. You just have to be open. Fish. You have to be open and accepting and loving and nurturing, and that's all they want from you. It really doesn't matter. There's no stereotypical foster parent. It's a loving adult who wants to help.
I think it's made us better parents of all of our children, and it has given us a lot of satisfaction in that we know we're helping children who need assistance.
The finest reward is when you take in some kind of pathetic little scrap who doesn't have any light in his or her eyes, and that head comes up, the smiles start, and they walk out the door, or they walk out the door with their adoptive parents, or they walk out the door and go back to a home that's ready to receive them. And then, of course, some of them don't walk out the door, and you get to see them grow all the way up. We still laugh about some of our children and some of the things that they said when they came in our homes. One little boy, for instance, came. He'd been bounced about. He would not take his shoes off. He refused to take his shoes, and as it came time for bath time, I'm thinking this could be a problem. So he adamantly refused. I tried, gently, no, no, no. So we all went out in the backyard. Bill, our older son, our older daughter, and I, and this new little child that had just come through the door, and we all took our shoes off. The four of us took our shoes off, and we were just running around in the backyard. He was looking at us, and finally he decided he could take his shoes off too. It was okay.
Can you push me on the swing, please?
Sure. I am constantly amazed by the foster parents that we have who talk about what a rewarding experience it is for them to have these children in their home. They love them as though they were their own, and they provide so much to these children. And yet, all they talk about is what a rewarding experience it is for them. They see these children experience things for the first time that they may have never experienced had they not been in foster care. They help them through the most difficult time of their life. Being removed from your family and being placed with people you've never met before is very traumatic. But these children adjust, and they grow, and they are able to make strides that they weren't making in their homes. And hopefully eventually they go home to their family, but some of them don't, and they are eventually adopted. But the foster parents always, when they talk about the experience, focus on what a rewarding experience it is for them.
Frankly, that might sound kind of corny, but really I've learned how to open my heart and love kids that I never really thought that before I became a foster parent I didn't think I could. It's been a great experience. I feel like I've grown as a human being for sure.
We have two older biological children, and I always felt like I wasn't done, but I couldn't have any more children. So we considered adopting, and over the years just kind of kept pushing it back and pushing it back. And I have my very best friend, she has adopted 2 little girls through Clermont County. So I kind of got the idea from her.
The first baby we got was, I picked him up 3 days old from the hospital, and Leslie and I went to pick him up, and I just will never forget the feeling of carrying him out of the hospital. That itself was a great memory. But the same baby, he had breathing difficulties. We had him for about a year, and every morning I got to give him his breathing treatment with a nebulizer. So even though that was very difficult, I bonded so much with him that was just a great experience to bond so much with this little guy. And then, of course, what I think about is the last day when I had to go drop him off at the daycare center for the last time. That was just it was so difficult, but also the way I cried when it was the last day to have with him was just a really great memory.
And our job is to help them move to the next step. It's to care for them, to love them with our whole heart, like they're our own child, but to remember in the back of our minds they're not our children, that we have to be able to let them go. And I think that's probably the hardest part of it all, because your heart doesn't stop loving them, but you have to let them go.
It's hard not to get close to all of them, because no matter if they're in our home for 2 months or they were for a year, it's just, I mean, they're living with you. It's really hard not to get close to them.
Can you make me a snack, please?
We have 2 older children that are boys, and we wanted a little girl. And the more we looked into possibilities and the options that were out there, such as adoption, foster care was an option that was brought up to us actually by friends, which was something we never even considered until they had gone through the process themselves, actually, with a kinship issue. And long story short, we kind of decided to go into it. We'd like to give back to the community, and what better way to do it than to give someone a chance they never had any other way. If we can help them with that, then that'd be great for us to try and do. So when we first went to pick them up, the little girl in general was very, very defensive, very protective of her, didn't want you touching her, didn't want you coming near her. And obviously she had just been taken from her home, taken to a second position, and then she was basically making 3 changes in one day to her life. So I can imagine what was going through her mind at this point at such a young age. And I remember when they actually handed her to me and I tried to pick her up, she did everything she could to fight me off. It was, don't touch me, trying to bite, trying to do everything she could. And I was just trying to get her into the car at that point, to strap her in so we could get her home so I could just kind of sit with her. And the baby, he was only 6 months old at the time, so he was just happy going wherever he carried him to. And we brought him home, and we had our children here, and they got to see him right away, and we introduced everybody. And the first day was pretty interesting at how quickly they did seem to calm. Once they got into a home, we kind of let them run a little around the house to look around and check things out. And it was kind of, we were still in shock of, oh my gosh, how are we going to do? We just went from 2 kids to 4 kids. What are we going to do? But the changes we have seen in these 2 kids is amazing. From the day we got her, just the way I described her, to now, she's very much the, I love you. She's the first thing to say to you. She'll run to you when you come in the door. She'll hug you. She'll kiss you. And she knows everybody's names, and she'll run and hug everybody in the room. And you don't realize how much you're capable of loving and giving of yourself until you put in that situation. And then when you do it, it's second nature. It's just like, yeah, brought them home from the hospital, they're your kids. And we wanted to get in it to help somebody, and that's what we're doing. Not only is that, now we love these children. These are our children. We want to keep them and give them the life we can, the best life that we can. And
can you take me to dance practice, please?
Sure.
All these children are scared and they're frightened. They don't know where they're going. They've never met these families, and these families generally meet us halfway down their sidewalk with open arms, trying to lessen the fear for these children, and the children are welcome into that home. These families do the best that they can to provide a safe home, a clean bedroom, clean clothes. They asking these children, what is your favorite meal? What can we provide for you? If the child is an infant, what kind of formula does this child like? What kind of blanket do they like to have themselves wrapped in? What's their favorite color? All of those things. What are their favorites? What's the plan for this child? What school did they go to so that we can try to help them go to that same school? What book do they like to be read to at night? All of those things so that they can help provide for that. When do they get to visit with their parents so that we can help? Can we drive them to their parental visit? Can we help meet their parents?
I think the scariest part is you feel really, really alone. Like, you don't know where you're going, you don't know who you're going to be with. You have no idea. And that's how I was. Very scary. it was like a 2-hour drive. And the whole time I'm wondering, who are these people? You know, well, what's their house going to be like? And when I got there, totally different, not what you expect. But it was actually nice. They had cleaned the house all up, and my foster dad was sitting there, and my foster mom wasn't home when I first got there. But she got home a few hours later, and they all just sat down and talked to me, and like the whole evening was about talking to me and asking what stuff I like, what stuff I don't like. They'll go to the grocery store and get stuff I need and all that stuff. So.
Can you please help me throw a football?
Sure. Foster parents are remarkable people. They not only open their hearts and their homes to children, they open their lives up to the scrutiny of the public, but they do it because they love what they do and they truly care about the kids that they're working with.
You have to think beyond yourself, and you have to understand that it is not about you, that it is about the child and the welfare of that child. You also have to be willing to go the extra mile and to work with a myriad of people. You're working with children's services, you're working with early intervention, you're working with the court system. Hopefully you have an opportunity to work with the biological family, and you just have to really be versatile and adaptable to whatever happens along the way. We had one little girl that was very disabled from birth, and then she was abused. And she turned out to be pure joy. She was adopted, and we still hear from her. The biggest challenge for me is to not be mad all the time. You tend to do that because you always see the bad side first, and to get past that, and to actually get past your own emotions is a real hurdle at times. The other piece of that is to try to figure out who the child is, and then find out the resources that are available to support that child, and try to develop a relationship with the family so that reunification can take place. That is not always possible. Sometimes they're as angry as we are, and it just isn't possible to establish a relationship with the biological family. But you try to do that if you can. We started doing this when my kids were in high school, and they are grown with their own children, and I see the effect of being around children that are less fortunate and how they parent. My granddaughter is very good at helping us with the children now. She comes and stays with us, and she is very nurturing, and so now we're into the next generation of nurturers, and I think a lot of that has to do with caring for foster children and being available to other people besides your own family.
Can you play a game with me?
Sure.
Often I will hear foster parents say, child coming in and feeling so frightened from abuse and neglect that they will hide food in their home. They will find food hidden in the dresser and under the bed because that child may not have known where their next meal is coming from. And so that foster parent will work with them to understand that food will be provided, and that by the time that child leaves that home, they're no longer hiding food. They're no longer afraid that they won't be fed.
Sometimes it's excruciating. Sometimes it's not so bad because they're going where they need to be. And I think one of the finest things for us is to have a child in, to give that child what he or she needs at that point, and then have them go on to lead happy, productive lives, whether it's back with biological parents, whether it's in another adoptive home, but to see them truly blossom and reach their potential, that's always fun.
Yeah, sometimes I start crying, and it is really difficult. I don't really want them to leave, and they've been here for a few days or a while, so.
But they want to go back to be with their mommy and daddy, right?
Yeah.
The county and the state have done everything that they can do to try to make it a lot better situation going back. So it certainly made it a lot easier. That was a huge fear that we had, a huge fear, and now that it's happened 3 times, I guess it's, we understand the process, and it's a lot easier, and you just know that you made a difference. And making a difference means everything.
People's always asking us, that's the first question, how can you let them go? How can you let them go back? And I said, even, you know, if it's 2 weeks or, you know, 8 months, we know we made a difference.
Will you help me find a friend?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that their foster parents are in it for the money. Let me just tell you, they're not in it for the money. In the amount of money that a foster parent receives for a child, you and I spend far more than that on our own children on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. The true foster parent is someone who just truly wants to give back to their community and give these children a chance to grow and flourish in their homes while they're there.
Can you help me fill out these college applications?
Sure. Every foster parent that becomes licensed through Clermont County receives initially 36 hours of training before a child's ever placed in their home. After that, they will receive 40 hours of training every 2 years to help them address the continuing needs.
We are just starting a new mentor program where each one of our new foster homes will be paired with a foster home that has prior experience. And that may be a short period of time, that may be a long period of time, depending on what the needs of the new family are.
We have a wealth of knowledgeable staff here and foster parents who are willing to step up and offer as mentors and to give people information, to give people mentorship, to offer training. I love to talk to foster parents and potential foster parents. I will answer the phones. We have other staff here who will do that. We are out in the community. We will come to employers to talk with people about foster parenting. We're at libraries to do that, and we offer different trainings here for people to come to.
Hello, Dragons the Titans are here. Can you help me? Sure, thank you.
We need your help. The simple fact of the matter is, on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis, too many children who come into foster care have to be sent outside of our county to a loving, caring home because we just don't have enough homes in Clermont County. That means a child may be removed from their extended family. That means if they're school age, they won't be going to the same school that they go to. That means that their friends, who may be a source of comfort to them, are that much further away. If you can find it in your heart to look into becoming a foster parent in Clermont County, you can help those kids return to the most normal life that they can have during the time that they're in foster care.
Clermont County really needs good foster parents. I really think you should consider helping these children. It could be the one thing that changes any child's life.
Can you teach me how to drive?
Sure.
We really need your help. Call 732-7173. Help keep our Clermont County kids here in Clermont County.
I think anybody that has a home and you know, has a little bit of time and you know, does well with children can certainly do this. It's not rocket science. It's just raising a child.
When we tell people we're foster parents, the typical response is, "Oh, how do you do it? Don't you become attached?" And I've been thinking about doing that, but most people don't go ahead and do it. They think about it, but don't do it. If more people would get out there and follow through with what they think about doing, we would have more foster parents, and we need more foster parents.
We need you to be a foster parent, to provide love and a home to these children who have been abused or neglected, who have done nothing wrong and just need to be loved. Give a child a hope for a brighter tomorrow.
If anyone out there is having thoughts about being a foster parent, whether it's because of commercial, whether it's because they've met somebody that's a foster parent, if they've considered it at all, then they should just go to classes. That's it. And they should really take the step. There's no reason not to. They can do it. Anybody can do it. And I just think that if they're having that feeling, they should take the step without question. And the Nike commercial, just do it.
We get Christmas cards from all the adoptive families, and it's wonderful. So you never really let them go. You just let them go somewhere else. So it's kind of wonderful.
I think more people need to come forward because you become a voice for a voice that's too small to be heard. A lot of these children, there's nobody to speak for them. And social workers can only do so much, and they have to stay within the mandates of the law. And foster parents, our job is not only to care for these children, but to speak for them because they are children. And the little ones, you know, you're under 5 range, they can't exactly tell you what they're feeling or what's going on. And if the foster parents don't speak for them, then they don't get 100% of what they deserve. And that's where the adults in the community, and everybody's probably heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And right now there's not a lot in our village that's coming forward to help raise these children. And that's what it takes. You just need to be the voice.
We need your help to give every child in Clermont County a hope for a brighter tomorrow.
Somebody knocks softly each day when I am busy making my way. And sometimes I think I should just open up, look and see. Somebody knocks, there it is again. Maybe somebody wants to come in. Somebody knocks softly. Somebody. Each day when I am busy making my way. And sometimes I think I should just open up, look and see. Somebody knocks, there it is again. Maybe somebody wants to come in. Somebody knocks softly. Somebody